I do not have that setting, but I am on my iPad, so maybe it's
Oh,
different.
you're on your iPad. That's crazy.
Yeah.
iPad
You're
baby.
podcasting from. You're an iPad baby. My friends recently were describing something called iPad face, where like I couldn't get a
What?
good handle of it, but it was like the a type of person who looks like they use an iPad a lot and maybe like grew up with an iPad.
I don't know what that would
God.
look like.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It's just like one of those things where it's like you see it and you know it when you see it type of deal.
Yeah, my nephew has it, FR.
Poetry.
Not fit for composition.
All right, we're here. We're here. We're in the cut. We're back. We're back. This is not fit for composition episode technically 9, but I don't know. We'll get to that later. I'll
Okay.
explain. I'll explain in a moment. But I'm happy to be back. Guys, I just want to say, I want to start this off by saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You should
I'm sorry. I let the podcast die. I let the whole thing fall apart. It's we are recording right now exactly 1 year to the day from the release of the last episode.
I did not
that's a
know
lot.
that.
Are you kidding
completely
me?
completely by chance, because the last episode came out on Inauguration Day, because it was the inaugural Poets episode. It
Oh
was
my God.
January 20th, as inauguration often is, and that was the last episode. So 1 year to the day, here we are. And listen back to that episode to be like, how did this thing work? And we end the episode being like, hope we can do more than 7 episodes in this coming year. And it didn't really materialize like we hoped. So I take full responsibility. So we recorded an episode with Lo-Fi Lit, another podcast.
Lo-fi Tyler.
Lo-Fi Tyler. I think last maybe February or March, and I kept being like, I'll edit it, I'll get it out. And you ever have like one of these things where it's like you just have a mental block and you can't finish it? Like you're just like, it's not even that much effort, but it's
Yes,
just like,
I've
like-
described that as like one of my main. I mean, it'd be self-aggrandizing to say that, oh, I have these any like noteworthy projects, but one of my idiosyncrasies is getting to the 80 or 90% and then just putting it off and saying I'll get to it, and maybe I do, but like 18 months later, though the like bulk of whatever had to be done was done, like the hard part. Yeah. So I completely understand what you're articulating, if not precisely the same. I mean, I experience some like that all the time.
I think that applies to like half of the things I start. And yeah, there's so many little projects or ideas that I get to a point and then pause for whatever reason. And getting back to it and finishing it up is going to take me like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours max.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
not that big of a deal, and I just never do, or it takes me 18 months to do it.
yeah, I feel like there's something about like when something takes you so long to, like, the longer it takes you, the longer you wait to get back to it, the more like looming it becomes. And
Absolutely.
like, if I just like sat down, I would just finish editing that episode. It's like all of the annoying parts are done. Like all the files are in the program I use. I've divided up the episode, whatever. but for whatever reason, I just like could not finish the episode. No criticism to our guest Tyler. It was a great episode.
Tyler probably feels awful.
He keeps asking me about it. The last time he asked me about it, I just keep telling him, yeah, I'm working on it, but it's like become a joke. So now he just says LOL when I say I'm working on it.
Yeah, you've hung out with Lo-Fi Tyler a couple times since.
That's true.
Since then.
Yeah. Yeah, he came to Austin sometime in the spring or summer. And we had a great night. Steph came over, Gabby Griot, poet, came over. Eleanor, you were there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tyler was there, and he brought out a bunch of Play-Doh. Like, he went to his car and came back with a bunch of Play-Doh and was just, like, smearing it all over my fucking house. Like, there's still encrusted blue sparkly Play-Doh on my, like table in my backyard from Tyler. He's a menace.
Based.
So once more, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm just imagining like the pathetic looking emoji.
Yeah.
the pleading eyes emoji.
Yeah.
As much as he can.
That's how I feel. I just need I need one of you to say it's okay. You're forgiven.
I mean, we're here, so it is, right?
We're here.
It's
I
happening.
actually,
like,
I think that Lo-Fi Tyler should be judge, jury, and executioner.
Okay.
that's so true.
This is a note to Tyler. I'm working on it. Otherwise, welcome back. It's been a whole year. We got Marcus and Eleanor per usual, and we have a guest today. My dear friend Stephen Michael Holmes. Stephen,
hello.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I got like 3 VHS tapes ripping in the background right now, and I'm chatting with some friends about some. I'll reserve judgment. Some poetry.
Yeah, some poetry for sure. What do you mean by VHS is ripping in the background for people who aren't up?
Thanks
up
for asking.
Yeah.
I am. Boy, when did I start? I don't know. I feel like I'm around a year in on being a VHS archivist, looking for tapes that contain broadcast television content, because a lot of the commercials, the local news, interstitials, etc., are at serious risk to being lost to time forever if people don't do that. And there's a ton of people doing it, in a bunch of different ways. And it's a monstrous endeavor, and I find myself becoming aware of like 100 tapes that have TV on them. These people just want them out of their house, and I'm like, well, shit, I gotta get those. I gotta save those tapes. I feel like I have at least 2,000 to 3,000 VHS tapes in my house right now.
Damn.
And I hate that kind of, but
you got a basement, you know?
I've got a basement. It's full.
Yeah.
It's dry.
Yeah.
Perfect place to save some tapes. And yeah, I've been digitizing them for a year now. I've got 2 machines doing it, like the good way. Not the best way. If any like real tape heads are listening, sorry, I'm not RF decoding these things, but it's as close to as best besides that we can get. And I've probably digitized at least 2,000 to 3,000 hours of television content at this point.
I'm glad you're coming at it from an archivist angle. You're also someone Marcus and I have known for a very long time. I've known you since I was in high school. You probably know Marcus longer. Is that true?
Yeah, a little bit longer, yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
like probably like 2 years. So yeah, Steve's unsung inspiration.
And not only that, but Steve drummed on the title on the theme music of this podcast.
Hell yeah. That was such a pleasure. It's been so long.
Yeah, we'll play it extra loud. We'll cut into it at this point in the podcast just so people can probably pay attention to your drumming. Maybe we'll play it twice.
Yeah, boost the drums a little bit.
Boost the drums. Go
make
a little
them
tape
clip, make them
saturation.
Remix it.
Yeah.
Create a
Make them
remaster for this
clip.
one.
Yeah. My very first poetry reading was essentially organized by you. Did you know that?
Wow. I mean, I know what you're referring to now that you say it, but I did
Yeah.
not consider. I hadn't considered that. Wow.
It's true. My very first poetry reading, organized by you, in Houghton, or maybe Hancock,
In
Michigan.
Hancock, yep.
In Hancock, Michigan. And I was opening for M. Siegel, who used to run Pank Magazine, and also Steve Rogenbuck.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we all saw how that went down.
Writing
But
was on the wall, but
right. Well,
For real.
maybe
Go ahead,
and maybe
Marcus.
not. I don't know.
Say what you want to say,
Maybe
Marcus.
The writing was on the moon.
Oh, is that I saw it like instantly. I was like told you, and I thought I'm like, this guy sucks, but you were under his spell for
I was also under his spell, or no, sorry, no. I also thought the guy sucked, and then when he came to Houghton Hancock, he bewitched me. I was entranced. He
He had some
He had
star
an aura.
power, man. He had aura for sure.
No,
aura
that's called
and-
dark triad personality, not aura.
yeah.
Steve, you were also the first person I ever knew that did that like published, like self-published literature.
Well,
It's true.
yeah. You're right. Probably I did that, and I like cringe at it now, but I did it. Yeah.
Dude, no, it was cool. I mean, I was like a senior in high school. You're probably freshman in college at Michigan Tech, and I think you were taking a creative writing course, and you had 2 short stories, and you just like printed them in a little book, and I was kind of like, damn, I didn't know you could do that. Like I didn't know that was an option, really.
As soon as
Until
I found
then.
out it was an option, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, I had I think 3 copies made, and I paid like $30 each because at that quantity.
That's insane. You only made 3 copies.
Yeah, I made 3 copies because I had no illusions of like selling it.
Right.
I just wanted to like make one for myself and then possibly give 2 away, which I'm sure I did, but I feel like one's probably at my parents' house, and the other one I legitimately have no idea where it is. It's probably in a thrift store.
I might have received that. Like I feel like I had a copy.
Maybe you got one.
If I do, I would know where to look for it in my files. I should look when I get back to Austin.
I'd be curious. Yeah. Would love to see it.
Would love to read your juvenile prose and just cook it on the podcast. Just fucking roast it in the next episode.
I feel like at some point we need to get 3 guests in here to react to our poetry.
That would be.
Wow.
We'd have to figure out like evil versions of us or something, Or, like inverse versions of us. Like a white Eleanor and like a jock August and a really happy Marcus.
I don't want to meet any of them.
Now, I was trying to find out what the most viral poem of 2025 was. Something that we might have covered had we been continually doing episodes. And what this one kept coming up, apparently this was published by a poet named Janae Cecilia on Instagram, and then it really took off on TikTok as a trend. So, Steve, could you read this poem for us?
I met my younger self for coffee at 10:15. She was late. I was early. I wore my dark brown hair in slick back bun. Her hair was faded red and in her face. I had dark blue jeans on. She wore sweatpants with a few stains. She lets out a sigh and has a good cry. I tell her to release her feelings one at a time. The scars on her have now faded on me quite a bit. I want to tell her it won't always be like this, but I don't. She doesn't need to hear that things will be better. She just wants a hug and reassurance of her feelings during this uncertain season ahead of her. We leave the aroma of coffee beans and baked goods. I walk her home to our old neighborhood. We won't meet again for 15 more years, but each day she thinks of the woman who acknowledged her tears.
Thank you. That is I Met My Younger Self for Coffee by Janae Cecilia, who is a Instagram poet with almost 200,000 followers. What do we think of this little viral poem?
Nah.
Just forgettable. What? There's nothing like egregiously offensive to my sensibilities about it. Like, I don't find it. Okay, maybe there's a virtue in that it's not as corny as I expected. What you presented as like a significant viral poem. Like, it's way less corny than
This is
other
definitely
things
the
we've
most
read.
legitimate viral poem that we've read.
Yeah,
on this
yeah. So
podcast.
like by saying it's forgettable is like kind of high praise.
It's not
instead
terrible.
of like outright offensive.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
terrible. It's just, I don't know. It feels just kind of
It's
cliche.
kind of it's a little empty, but okay. I just want to point one thing out that I noticed while Steve was reading it. It's got some rhymes going on. It's got a sort of unstable rhyme pattern. First stanza we have bun and on, face and stains. Those aren't perfect rhymes, but there's rhymes there. Next stanza we have cry and time, bit and this. And then in the last stanza we have baked goods and neighborhood, years, and then tears.
Yeah, that makes it worse. No, I don't.
No, she's in the back. Well, maybe. I don't know.
No, I think that doesn't make it worse. But
there's a little bit of something to it, I guess. It's the only point.
It's I guess got promise, but it's just, I don't know. It feels kind of cliche, and I just,
Of
it
course.
doesn't really grab me. Also, like, okay, this is gonna sound sexist, and I promise I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but
Do it. Cook
this
the
is the
ladies.
kind of poem. This is the kind of poem that only a woman would be celebrated for writing.
Oh, okay.
Steph seething.
Look, I don't mean that in a bad way, but if a man wrote something like this, everyone would just be like, "Shut the fuck up, you little bitch."
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, they probably deserve to say that. I'm not saying they're going to be wrong.
I met my younger
just
self,
saying.
and like he had a Fortnite hoodie on.
Drinking a Monster.
Yo, hey.
Steve, what did you think of it?
Okay, so I did not read it in advance,
That's okay.
and this was my first reading of it. And so while reading it, I was kind of dissociating and like making sure I read it okay.
Yeah.
And like as I was reading it, I was like, this has like a little bit of a jaunt going on.
A little John.
I feel myself like I hopped onto the train of a poem here, either for better or for worse. And as it was happening, I like didn't know if it was for better or for worse. But afterwards, and then like rereading it while y'all were talking about it more, I was like, this is, I wouldn't have put this out. It's like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay, I guess. It's mid as hell. It does have, it has a nice rhythm. I don't know. Like I fell into that rhythm, and it maybe also pulled me into that rhythm, which is like, okay, does that make it good? I don't know.
It shows a little skill. It shows a little skill, I think.
A
Sure.
little, but like there could be so much more. Like
Right.
the writing is kind of like it's not super interesting. There isn't a lot of like
No.
playful stuff going
Way
on.
less than super
Most of what this
interesting.
poem is just the concept of, oh, my younger self was sad. And it's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, join the club.
Should have been.
Right. But it's like that's not really, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
I mean, yeah, I think I agree with everything you're saying, and it's interesting hearing Steve's reaction because I feel like my reaction to this poem is slightly inflected by all the bad poetry we've read for the podcast so far. So,
Yeah.
like, we've read some real crap that is like
Yeah.
viral or quote unquote or whatever. So, as compared to those, like this one's kind of not bad. But then, like,
yeah,
if you
definitely.
haven't, if you haven't been like calibrated that way, I mean, it's a pretty bad
Compared to
poem.
those, this is fucking Faulkner.
Yeah. There's the line, she just wants a hug and reassurance of her feelings during this uncertain season ahead of her. Just cut during this uncertain season ahead of her.
Yeah.
Oh, how about she
Yeah,
just wants a
there's-
hug?
Yeah, there are definitely things that could be cut, and there are things that
Where
could be
my
added
hug
to, like,
at?
spice it up a little.
Where's my hug? This is where's my hug at? I got coffee with my younger self, and he asked where my hug at.
I think to really do a poem like this justice, you need to get into the details, and it needs to be way longer. It needs to be like an epic, like fucking biography of what you've been through.
Yes.
But this, she made it pretty much for Instagram, I'm pretty sure. So it's short.
100%.
And it's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's good either.
It's not. It's pretty like middle of the lane even for Instagram poets. But
Yeah, but it is honest, and I like that.
yeah, and there's an idea behind it. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, we read a lot of bullshit viral poems in our day, so this is refreshing.
She should fuck her younger self at the end. She should groom her younger self.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wrote a poem that was published in Post Pop Lit where I'm yelling at myself, and then by the end of the poem, I'm seducing myself. Okay, well, this takes me to
Here's
go
my
ahead.
point. Shut the fuck up, you little bitch.
True. So this became like a trend on TikTok, and I posted in the document there at the very end a little image of some of the TikToks I found riffing on this poem, and it is mostly women riffing on it. Now, the only thing, they all kind of just like follow the form of the poem or whatever, you know. But the ones on TikTok take this concept and somehow like make it like bragging, either about bragging or about or just worse. And
Bragging how?
people just being like, oh, my younger self asked if we ever moved to London, and I said yes, we did, and we got a PhD, and everything is going great, and you're in love right now. It's just like it's a little bit. A lot of them become about like bragging about where they are in life, which I think is fine, but it's a little funny. But something I noticed in all of the TikTok incarnations of this poem, they follow her form pretty well, where it's like, oh, my younger self showed up late and I showed up early, you know? But they all add something that wasn't in the original poem, which is a couple lines about what they order. So it's like, my younger self ordered a caramel macchiato. I ordered an iced oat milk latte. Or my younger self ordered a sugar-free Red Bull. I ordered a matcha with honey, cinnamon, and organic whole milk. I'm quoting directly from some of these poems. She ordered an iced caramel latte, and I ordered an iced Americano with honey. Shut up! Like, nobody cares about your drink order. Like, this has become I don't know why the poem, the form here acquired this, like,
Well,
here's
you know
how my favorite drink.
You know what I bet it is that a really, really, really popular TikToker probably started doing this riffing, and they added that line, and then everyone else is just copying their
That's a
version
good point.
instead of the
Probably
original.
they aren't even aware of the original. Yeah. That's a good point. I did find one man doing this, and it was like this British bloke, and it was like this like super cut of him on all of his fun life adventures and kind of like swooping his hair at the camera and mogging a mirror and then being in Italy. And he's like, my younger self ordered a pint and I ordered a matcha latte and he called it girly. And it had like 200,000 likes. I don't know. I don't really like this trend. I don't really like this poem. It seems just more like ego wankery than anything.
Yeah. That's so. Wow. I should write one of those poems.
Yeah. What would you do?
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
here's a good question. You're meeting your younger self for coffee. What is the scenario?
I met my younger self for coffee and I fucking kicked his ass outside the coffee shop.
I just wailed on him.
Someone needed to beat my ass when I was young.
Yeah. Could be,
Might as well
should
be
be
me.
yourself.
Feel
Yeah.
that.
What about you, Steve? What would meeting your younger self be like? What would they order and what would you order?
I would have ordered a OG Monster, and I would now order coffee black. And yeah,
Nice.
I hope I'd kick my fucking ass. It needed it.
That would be such a fun twist on this poem, is just like being really mean to you. Because it's all about like, all of these poems are all about like healing your past traumas. And I would just like to see, it could be a funny concept, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the reason. Is like for the most part, I had my own past trauma.
Yeah, I guess. It'd be funny if there was like, if it was like, there was I met my younger self for coffee, and it was like a time loop thing where you give yourself trauma, and then like you experience the
More.
trauma in the
That would be
future.
really interesting, actually, yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Listen to
self-induced
this.
trauma.
Or like you
Marcus.
say something to your younger self and then something about you changes.
Yeah. You scream with horror as the future is irreversibly altered.
That's a pretty cool concept, actually. I like that.
Yeah. Marcus, what would your younger self be ordering?
Iced coffee and iced coffee. Everybody be in
Wow.
Zero fucking
No changes.
Zero progression. Interior FBI basement office, day. The cramped space is cluttered with files and paranormal stuff. The I want to believe poster hangs crooked on the wall. Mulder sits at his desk. On a whiteboard behind him can be seen two series of letters, ABAB CD CD EF G G and ABBA CDDC EFG EFG. Scully, with arms crossed, reads skeptically from a file, while Mulder pontificates to her in his classically handsome devil-may-care style.
3 deaths in 8 days? Austin? Grand Rapids? New York? No connection between the victims. Different ages, occupations, socioeconomic backgrounds.
Well, that probably happens every day.
Not while reading the same poem.
With a smirk, he tosses her a manila folder. The letter X can be seen on the file. Inside there are several photocopies of a handwritten poem. Its shape is both familiar and strange at the same time.
Mulder, are you saying a poem killed these people?
Not just any poem. Did you read Shakespeare's sonnets back in high school?
Yeah. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
I'd rather you didn't. The poem is a sonnet too, but look closely.
Scully squints at the poem for a moment.
Sonnets are 14 lines long. This one is 12 and a half. And it's all over the page. Doesn't rhyme, no regular meter, and there's a mermaid emoji in it.
Mulder throws her another packet of papers.
You ever hear of an American sonnet? It's like a sonnet, but very modern. No rules.
That sounds like some liberal bullshit.
It is.
Isn't the whole point of a sonnet the rules?
That's what we have to figure out with our podcast. Not fit for composition.
Mulder throws her another manila folder bursting with papers.
What's this?
This is my new book of poems. About time. I'm David Duchovny now, and this is my book of poems that I wrote. I went to Yale for literature, by the way.
Cool. Do we ever have sex in the show? Is it ever implied, or is it all a big tease?
Enter cigarette smoking man.
Hey guys, it's me, the cigarette smoking man. Can I have a light?
No, you're the main antagonist, or maybe our boss or something. To be honest, August has never seen an X-File. He watched the movie once, and he liked it even though it gave him a headache.
End scene. Okay. Thank you so much. Steve, I invited you on because I associate you with X-Files. What did you think of my scene?
The scene was great. It really, you really captured it.
Thank you.
Especially from somebody who's never really absorbed it in any meaningful way. That's kind of what it's like a lot of the time.
Yeah. If you remade X-Files now, Scully's new tagline would be, "That sounds like some liberal bullshit."
Yeah.
I had a feeling that she would be based now, perhaps. But indeed, we are here to talk about David Duchovny's new book, About Time, his first book of poetry. And what can we say about Time to start it off here? I did some research into David Duchovny. He's written quite a few books, to be honest with you. This book was published by Akashic Books. Came out last year in September. Steve, do you have any experience with any of David Duchovny's written work?
No, and I wish I did. I really meant to, because I've been primed for this for a while, but I just never did shit.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But this was my first experience to his writing, but that being said, I cringe to say I've been subscribed or a member of whatever the r/X-Files subreddit for a really long time. And
it's a bold admission.
Yeah, I'm a Redditor. Sorry. Kill me. Please. But anytime David Duchovny puts something out, whether it be a book or an album, or occasionally his podcast gets brought up because he's such a Renaissance man, people will talk about it, and I've seen some people give really high praise to some of his writing, and also I've seen a lot of people say he's just mid across the board with everything.
Okay. Even among his fans.
Yeah, these are ostensibly stans.
Interesting.
Yeah, they'll self-admit I'm only here because I love the X-Files so much, and I wouldn't have consumed this media otherwise.
That's interesting because I often have found in reading these reading these celebrity books, and then going and finding their their fan groups online and seeing how the fan groups react to it. Most of the time they're like, I love this celebrity, but this book is it's fine. It doesn't even seem to capture the actual fans of the celebrity usually.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. They shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, I agree.
I
Go ahead.
think it's bad for people to write poetry. It's whatever.
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you, that? I love that David Duchovny is just allowed to do whatever he wants, and he wrote these poems. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Well, I guess we could just jump right into it since we're already talking about the book. But he starts with something called an introduction called A Poetic Autobiography, which it's not really that. And it's just kind of like his feelings on poems, his feelings about poetry, a little bit about where the poems come from, and his approach. And I will be honest, the first line of this introduction is, "I know what you're thinking. Just what the world needs now, a bunch of poems from an actor." And he got my ass with that one. You know, like that, that's kind of like our whole podcast is like, fuck these actors who think they can write poems. And so he's like hedging that like right at the beginning, and I got to give him props. That makes me like he realizes like what it comes off as. I guess that's what that reads like to me.
Yeah, and he also realizes that poetry sucks.
Yeah. He goes on in this introduction, and I was thinking about this earlier today. I kind of like this introduction.
It's a good introduction.
I got to give him props. It's a good introduction. He goes through like a bunch of different definitions of poetry. He says poetry is lies. It makes nothing happen. It's not useful. And I can fuck with that. And here's what I mean. It's like sometimes you see a celebrity puts out a poetry book and they do all these interviews about it. And they say something like, "Oh, poetry is just about expressing your feelings, showing who you are," and that doesn't resonate with me at all. Like the minute you say poetry is about expressing your emotions or yourself or whatever, I'm just like, what does that even mean? But if you start your introduction and say poetry is this useless, weird endeavor, and that's what makes it valuable, which is what he's kind of saying, I'm kind of on board. I think he kind of gets the game. You know what I'm saying? He kind of knows ball.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he understands that. I like his description of poetry because it's like more like he realizes that it's kind of like almost uh useless to write poetry because it's all about like trying to capture an emotion that can't be captured.
Yeah.
Which I agree with. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. And he also, he says basically poetry is not useful, and that is why we need it. And I've always thought, one of the valuable things about poetry is how kind of pointless and lacking in utility it is. Like, can't really be commercialized beyond some exceptions, obviously, but like,
all its utility is spiritual,
sure, yeah, right. It's very individual,
or I guess mental, you could say.
Yeah. Steve, as someone coming out from outside the poetry world, or Marcus as well, what did you think of the introduction?
I'm fully on the same page as you for like the first half of the introduction. But then and maybe explicitly as a non-poet for the second half of the introduction, I was like, "Oh, you're just trying to tell me that you've read poetry." Like he's just like name dropping poets over and over again, and I'm like,
yes,
okay, I get it. You've read poetry, and like the first few like landed, I think, but then it just kind of felt like it kept going.
I think the problem with the book as a whole.
Okay.
It's like I went to grad school. Like I fucking get it.
Yeah, he wastes no time to telling you that he went to Yale and Princeton for literature.
Yeah, but like the vibe that I'm getting from this introduction is not that he's like trying to brag, but because he legitimately wants you to understand like his background.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, he does seem to take it like seriously, maybe to a fault. Has like dreams of like immortality through his writing and such, which I think is like don't put that out in the open. Like that makes me cringe a little.
Keep it to yourself.
He does. Yes, when he says, "When I was in the PhD program in English literature at Yale, I studied with the capricious Harold Bloom." And this makes a lot of sense because Harold Bloom wrote this book called The Anxiety of Influence, which was basically his idea was poets suffer under the anxiety of all of their predecessors and all of the like heavy influence of all the poetry that's come before. And it's with that anxiety that they develop new and it's like the tension created by that is what develops new and creative approaches to past and present forms. And it's so obvious that he studied under Harold Bloom when you read this introduction, because he's just going through and he's like, Wordsworth said this, Wallace Stevens said this, Lowell said this, who else? Frost said that. Like, he's really like going down the like canon checklist, you know?
Oh, there is some cheesy stuff in here. Like, there's this line, all poems are poems about death. It's like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, he does tend, and like that kind of carries through to his poetry, where sometimes there's a line that's a little too self-assured, and like when he kind of strays into philosophy or theology, it starts to falter.
I honestly, I can't fault him though, because I do that same fucking shit.
Sure. Yeah, but you're good at it.
Well, thank you.
But you know, so the introduction goes on for a couple pages. He's essentially saying, he goes like at the end of instead of like wrapping it up nicely after talking about literature, he starts talking about his music and his lyrics, and then that like
so weird.
I don't care about it. Yeah, like
yeah.
You felt that
we don't need to know you were in a band. He's plugging his band. Like, why?
Plugging his band.
His band is 5 times more mid than his poetry.
What is it? Do you know it? Like, is it just like rock music? Like, that's what I imagine.
It's just dad rock. It's like, you put it on if you're gonna like hop on a tractor and till the farm and you don't want to think about anything. It fills that void really well. Like it. But it's so generic. It honestly like feels like AI generated music almost to me. Like this is like just like too okay.
Yeah, that's such a thing that happens with actors when they start bands. I think of, have you ever listened to Johnny Depp's music?
No.
No.
I'm
really happy to say
Why would you
no.
ask me that?
Yeah, I'm offended.
What do we think of so then the book starts, and it's 80 solid pages of poetry. What are your overarching impressions?
I would say the intro is the perfect encapsulation of this book. He writes too fucking much. He goes on too long. He needs to cut so much of this shit. But he's got some good stuff in there.
That's true. I would agree with you. Steve, what did you think?
I came away from so many of his poems thinking, I don't know what to take away from this.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of them where I was like, oh my god, this is really nice.
Yeah.
And makes me feel something, like makes me call back to something. But it didn't happen that often. I felt like I was scrolling a lot between instances of that feeling.
Yeah, I felt like it was like a very uneven book where like there are highs to it where you're like, okay, the idea behind this poem is so solid. You kind of do see it through to its like logical conclusion. There are some poems that I'm like, while even the best poems I feel like have some moments where I'd be like, just cut all this because they go on too long. And I'll get to one of those specifically in a minute. But there were moments where I was like, damn, does he got the fucking juice? Is he he really is like writing some damn poems here,
There's good lines in here and some pretty decent poems. Like whenever he gets to the meat, it's surrounded by a bunch of fluff. And
dude, he really does over-explain himself a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like trying to talk to like an elderly person who just keeps rambling. So it's like, okay, Grandpa, get to the point.
I read a bit about this book. These are a lot of like he kind of wrote these over 25 years. Like this is just kind of a collection of poems that he's written over his adult life, and it kind of shows because some of the poems are really tender, like fatherhood poems, and then some of the poems are weird, like heartbroken, like post-divorce poems. There's a couple poems about just like people he was fucking, which feel weird
Yeah.
alongside
Those are
like
the
poems
weirdest.
about raising his child. You know,
Yeah.
Which
Anytime he tries to
contribute-
get explicit is weird.
Yeah, the fucking poems suck.
I know. I kind of like those personally. I was like, give me more of that and less of this. Like, okay, the first clunker line that we hit in the first poem. I just want to point this one out because it kind of
Oh my god.
captures all the bad
Yeah.
ones. And it's the line, they say the Big Bang happened when the devil told God to go fuck himself. And it's just got this like Gen X, like sort of like smarmy, holier than thou kind of quality to it. You know, sort of edgy, but
so
in a
stupid that
soft.
I like it.
Yeah. You like that? No
Yeah.
way you like that.
It's like it's like fucking the equivalent of B movie schlock. It's like, yeah, that's bad, but it's awesome.
I guess, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. But that was the first line where I was like, oh God, is it going to be like this? It wasn't like that all the time. But when he ventures into like truisms and theology and philosophy,
Yeah.
it like totally
But-
falters.
Also, like, yeah, there's a duality because that line comes right after the line that says, all that is created can be barely understood, which is like a pretty good line.
Yeah.
Pretty good,
I guess,
yeah.
I like that. Like, he does save himself sometimes from his like worst excesses, but like the poem that really, maybe I'll just read the whole thing. Do you mind if I read a long one?
Read a
Which
long
one?
one, please.
It's the second poem, Carbon Canyon, which I think is
Yeah.
so close to being a good poem, but it just like,
I had feelings about this poem.
yeah, okay, I'll read it really quick. Carbon Canyon. We lived in Carbon Canyon then, before the fire. Unpack that given irony. Were there no carbon copies, we so unique and blessed? There was a time when I walked with my 3-year-old daughter, I think 3. Anyway, I know we were walking the deep decline of Carbon Canyon on one of those short, mommyless jaunts. We came upon the recently car-crushed carcass of a gray field mouse, part 3-dimensional as in life, part flattened as in a drawing, the weight of the car having made its lower half unreal, a cartoon. The driver long gone, unaware of their handiwork, guiltless. A tiny trickle of blood from its slightly opened mouth, a last profound unheard utterance, so perfectly dramatic and telling, as if to seem placed by a movie crew hiding in the bushes perhaps. And my daughter, 2, 3, 4, about to spy it on the ground, and I, a daddy, with knowledge spilling out of my pockets, life lessons, sense a teaching moment for the disquisition on mortality that every parent believes every 3-year-old needs. See, it all ends, best laid plans and all that. Life's unfair, carpe diem, little one, Latin for heaven, but for the grace of God. In these moments, I realize I'm nothing but a recording of my own parents' voices, their greatest hits, my soul, their phonograph. Fade in, a father slows his daughter, allowing the chance to happen upon a dead mouse, it/death, knowledge, consequence, mortality. But it is only now as we kneel that I notice the vibrant cha-cha line of ants dancing in and out of the ruined creature in all their anarchic discipline, carrying to and fro unseeable bits of meat and nutrient mouse ooze. And my breath catches because suddenly this lesson is for Daddy. And it is Daddy who cannot face too much death. The death after death, my death, in this mouse's mouth, my daughter's death. I'm not quite stomach enough to face the pieces of us all carried off into oblivion, eaten until we are unrecognizable, digested, shit, roadkill. Dizzying, I say, oh, let's go, sweetheart. But it's too late. My daughter, 2 or 3 or 4, has seen, leans down farther, her blue eyes an inch or 2 from the ground, and says, Daddy, look at the ants. There's so many of them. Yes, I see. Maybe we should let the mouse sleep. Let her sleep. I take her hand to lead her, though I don't know where. I know I am blind and unprepared, a child leading a child. And the little one stops and smiles and points back to the carnage. No, the ants, Daddy, the ants. Look how much they love her. So my sense is that there's a good poem buried in this poem. I think the ending is really quite beautiful. I think the instance
Yeah, I
from
like
the
the
poem is
ending a lot.
beautiful. But he spends, in the middle of the poem, he's like, A father slows his daughter, allowing the chance to happen upon a dead mount's consequence, mortality. This lesson is for daddy, but his daddy who cannot face death. He just explains everything again, instead of just like letting us exist in the scene and like see like this moment, which is quite beautiful. And the ending on that line is very beautiful. No, he has to like be like, by the way, this is about mortality and the fact that the irony that I'm the one who like needs to learn the lesson, not my daughter. It's like the most basic like show don't tell, please.
He
Moment.
needs to get rid of like most like half of these stanzas.
Yeah, my note says cringe but cute. This could have made a much better poem in the hands of someone else.
Yes.
I
yeah.
think,
Did you say strange but cute?
Cringe but cute.
Cringe but cute. Yeah.
I think that it's a problem I have with a lot of his poems is that there is a lot of good stuff that just goes on for way too long or is just surrounded by nonsense or it explains itself too much. And it's like they just gotta cut a lot of the stuff. But then when he tries to write short poems, I don't like any of them.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Eleanor. And I thought like he has a good sense of what makes a poem, like an instance that creates the opportunity for a poem. Like this one, for example, or the weird one about his heart, or talking about, there's the one about his like dead father, like being in the afterlife and having to like learn the ropes of living in the afterlife, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And so he has a good sense of like what makes an interesting poem and the instances that can inspire and create the space for like language that's interesting, but then he just like makes sure that we know exactly what the lesson from the poem is. And I don't really, it's so parochial and so like heavy-handed.
They weren't so much like, oh, this made me feel that they hit me hard as poems, but rather that I'm like, oh, this is definitely written by like someone who's read a lot and is like erudite to some degree. One is Moonrise, which I don't really get much out of it, and I don't really know what it's about. And really the only part I dislike is when he talks about California, because then it just makes it super just like eye rolly.
He was in the TV show called Californication. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think Ostro like watched that or something. So like Moonrise is an example of one that I thought like, oh, that's like a well-crafted, like on a purely like linguistic level, and I guess even parts of it like read aloud or to myself, like it's well crafted. It doesn't hit particularly hard, but I guess that's something that stands in contrast to a lot of the other would-be poets whose work we've read, as in at their best moments they're not really executing good writing, but this does include some good writing. But of course, as both Steve and Eleanor mentioned, there's just tremendous amounts of fat that need to be rendered off.
Yeah.
And the short ones are just kind of like, oh, haha, at like the best, and the
short ones are so bad.
Yeah,
and at its worst, it's just like, bro, like Tumblr was this many years ago and to the right.
The only exception to this, I think, is City of Lost Population 1, because I like the last stanza. I like the last stanza of that poem, and it should have been the whole poem.
I kind of like that whole poem, but like that one stood out to me. Do you want to read that?
Sure. You gotta admit, the one thing you can't admit, the obit. May I add, I would have liked to have been more or less driven, but this paperweight, my heart, steadies pages of the past against a wind of change. It's insane what you could have had. So light now, the breeze takes it.
Yeah, that's kind of good. That's kind of goated. I'm sorry to say.
Yo, that last
No, I
stanza
did
fucking
like that
rocks.
one. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
fucking-
It's like it's just on the on the edge of like fully understanding and perceiving. You know what I mean? It's like right on the edge of like you get it, but you don't fully like on a literal level get it. It's nice, and it's got some like sound
It's like-
play. It's
like just abstract enough, but also
Yeah.
concrete at the same time. I just don't
Yeah.
like the stuff that's before it.
Steve, do you have a bad one that you want to bring us to? One of the short ones, perhaps.
Oh, the Cupid one was rough for me. Where the fuck is it? I'm scrolling.
That's on page 62.
What I want to know is what idiot gave that fucking blind kid a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I read that and I was like, this is trash. But I feel like I don't know. You boil it down and I'm like, love is messy.
It's true.
There's
Yeah.
something to say about love being fucking bullshit.
I mean, that's one of the
you are
ones
stretching yourself to like get to that. You know what I mean? Like the poem
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I don't hate on his face, but like I wouldn't put it in my poetry book, you know? I would just tweet that. That would be a
That's
tweet.
exactly. That's a tweet. That's a tweet. It's
No.
nothing more than a tweet.
Actually, I have a reason. There's a specific reason this one like bothers me like a lot. Is because in the intro he mentions like the dichotomy of Rome and Jerusalem, which I'm not to put any of you on the spot. Like, do you know what he's like alluding to?
I don't even remember that part of the intro.
No.
But explain it.
So he maybe he's citing like Harold Bloom. I don't even recall, but it's like a dichotomy that like I believe it was introduced by a church father, Tertullian, and most recently was taken up by Leo Strauss. And it's about the conflicting traditions of Greco-Roman thought and rationality, and then like the morality of the Hebrew Bible and that tradition. So like Athens and Jerusalem. My point being, this dude probably is read like Leo Strauss, unlike a vast majority of the population. Like he probably knows like enough mythology that he doesn't have to like put this shower thought like on the page. Like he knows probably more than I do off the cuff, or as much about like Greek mythology and Cupid. And like as I mentioned, hats off that I think he can write, but like this should have been edited out.
I agree. Here's what really bothers me about it, though. I like Marcus's explanation of what bothers him, but what bothers me is no and bow are both could rhyme. So what I want to know is what idiot gave that blind kid a bow, but he said like that would be better in my mind than what idiot gave that fucking blind kid a bow and arrow. Like he just missed an easy little like. I don't know. It could have been a little catchier and shorter if you let no and bow rhyme.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he went for the catchiness of like the rhythm of the sentence rather than the structure, which I mean, I get, but it's just like such a nonsense sentence that it doesn't
Even
really
that
matter
though,
anyway.
what I want to know is what idiot would give that fucking blind kid a bow? Like at least we got no and bow. Like it's sealing it up with like a little fucking bow.
It was right there.
Yeah,
It was so close.
it was so
I mean, it's
close.
like it's a good like sitcom line. Like if you said it, if it was like a dialogue sitcom, it's like, what I want to know is what idiot gave that fucking blind kid a bow and arrow? Like that feels natural.
Cue laughter.
Yeah. but it doesn't work here.
I want to turn our attention to this poem called New Haven, which is one of the poems where he talks about sex explicitly. Feels
Ugh.
like an earlier time in his life. But good God, the way this poem ends, really, really, I did not like it at all. So he starts off this poem. The first time in your little apartment, a small bedroom, maybe claustrophobic, not feeling worthy, overcome by your presence and ease and point of view, making excuses for finishing fast and all but begging for another shot, which you so kindly gave me. He's just kind of talking about it seems like this woman that he had a sexual relationship earlier in his life. He's reflecting on this past, moment in his sort of maturing. But then the poem ends. He's kind of reflecting, and then he kind of recalls keeping in touch with her for a while, and he says at the end, certain slips and rebounds, the exact feel of you remains present to this day for reasons only something knows. But thank you for all that, friend.
Friend.
Why did he end it that way? But thank you for all that, period. New line, friend, period. Such a... What is that? What's going on there?
Didn't that reminded me of what's his name, Julian Casablancas, sending some teenager an Instagram message like, hello friend.
The guy from The Stroke sending a 19-year-old a Gen X-y cringe DM. Wait, I want to find that now. Oh, dude! Okay, I found it. So someone posted this DM that, and she's this cute, maybe she's got to be 19, she looks like a baby. And Julian Casablancas messaged her, howdy. IG showed me pictures of you, even though I tried to focus on art and human-like animals and people fighting. So I thought I'd say a respectful platonic, hello, psychic pal. Maybe the end. Saluting emoji, returning to self-imposed solitude. Rose emoji, flamingo emoji.
What?
Can you imagine the guy from The Strokes sending you that?
I love that. That's so goofy.
We'll never escape. No matter how cool you were in your 20s, you become cringe. I guess that's the lesson.
Yeah, but at that point, you learn to embrace the cringe. And then it can't hurt you anymore.
Ideally, you're not messaging 19-year-olds too.
Ideally,
that's what brings out the cringe.
But I feel like at some point you have to embrace the cringe and be goofy and stupid. I don't think he was trying to be goofy and stupid exactly, but it could have been.
The saluting emoji and saying, I thought I'd say respectful platonic hello, psychic pal.
That's like my fucking Uncle Nathaniel's trying to send me a message.
What else can we say about this book? I guess in its positives, I would say the moments he talks about fatherhood and the moments he talks about his own father, the loss of his own father, feel most poignant. And if I were to pull a thread out of this book that felt like it really, cut everything else that's not about this and work on a book that is about these feelings, that's what I gravitated towards. Did you guys pick up on that?
I could see
all,
that.
What?
I don't think I felt as strongly about it as you did, but yeah, I do think he has something there. I don't know if he necessarily needs to make a whole book about it, but I think maybe solidifying some of that material would definitely help.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be. I think there's something to be said for having such a variety of material, even if it does clash a little bit. I think that's kind of what the line or the title of the introduction is referring to, a poetic autobiography. Like he just wants to capture like different slices of his life, which I can
Right.
respect.
And like I said, he wrote these over 25 years. You know, it seems like he's just kind of been stowing away poems and eventually had enough for a book. I was doing some research into David Duchovny's poetic activities as an undergraduate. And I was doing my thing. I was searching all over the Princeton and the Yale websites and their archives trying to find more information about what he was doing because he seemed pretty involved. And I found a line on an article about him referencing that in 1982 he got an honorable mention from the American Academy of Poets for a poem. Basically, he was like a runner-up for a university poetry prize run by the American Academy for Poets. So I was like, I gotta find this poem. I really wanted to find this, this poem that he wrote as a senior in college. And I was really digging around. I was in the Princeton archives online. I found out that their literature journal is called the Nassau Literary Review. It's been around since the 19th century, which is really crazy. And I'm looking for references to David Duchovny, and I found in one issue of March 1981, he is listed as part of the poetry staff at the Nassau Literary Review with about 5 or 6 other individuals. So, he was really in the fucking slot pile. He was reading the slush pile. He was like participating in literature in this like very serious capacity as an undergraduate, which I give him props for. I kept looking. I wanted to find this poem that he got some sort of honorable mention for. I went back to the Daily Princetonian, February 1982 edition, and I found there was an article called A Lackadaisical Lit by Bert Robinson. And this was a review of the most recent Nassau Literary Review in February of 1982. And the person said, at the end of the article, he makes mention of, let me find it real quick. The poetry that inhabits Nassau Lit suffers from the same overall tone problems that most of the prose does. Stone Man by David Stott is fine and evocative, while David Duchovny's Dreaming Home Movies bizarrely and entertainingly echoes The Night of the Living Dead. But that's about it. So a nice little line towards David Duchovny. This is all the way back in 1982, long before he's an actor. And the name of the poem is Dreaming Home Movies. I couldn't find it online. What I'm assuming is there is an edition of the Nassau Literary Review from January 1981 or January 1982 or late 1981 that contains this poem by David Duchovny. It's not online. It's not been digitized. Maybe if any listeners out there go to Princeton University and want to go to their library, I think you'd be able to find it in the special collections. You'd be able to find a very early David Duchovny work called Dreaming Home Movies. I'd love to get my eyes on it. I emailed a couple librarians, have not heard back. So my assumption is that this poem, Dreaming Home Movies, that is mentioned in the 1982 edition of the Daily Princetonian, is also the one that got a honorable mention from the Academy of American Poets in 1982. I can't be sure unless I got access to some of those archives. But I would love to find that poem if anybody has access to it or is good at finding that kind of stuff. Give
him access.
Give me access. But that was my little bit of deep research onto his undergraduate literary activities. I want to read this poem, Dreaming Home Movies, that echoes The Night of the Living Dead.
Sounds amazing.
Could be good. And we'll definitely read it on the podcast if we can get our hands on it. But he's a real, he was really was gonna be an academic. He has an unfinished doctoral thesis, I found out, called Magic and Technology in Contemporary Fiction and Poetry. So he's a real literature head. At the end of the day, he was really he was deep into a PhD before he went off and became a actor. And so I think it makes sense that we find at least some literary merit in his poetry, even though it might not, he might not have the strongest editorial presence around him.
Yeah.
He tried.
He tried.
Yeah, this is the strongest book I think we've read on the podcast so far.
Yeah.
I thought you had watched all of X-Files. I only have seen a few episodes.
It's wild that you wrote an entire book about aliens and you haven't watched X-Files.
And I thought I'd be the odd man out because I thought you and Steve would be able to weave in some X-Files background information or just.
I mean, David didn't even give us anything to weave X-Files into.
Yeah. I guess that's another. Just to state maybe what I should have an initial statement I could have made would be oh, I didn't. If I hadn't just known that this was the X-Files guy, I would. I thought this was just the California guy.
Yeah, for sure. There was shit for X-Files weaved into it.
Yeah.
I don't have anything X-Files to give to it.
Once you sent me the link, I'm okay, I'm getting down to reading this, and then after probably reading, I don't know, maybe it's the first fourth, I'm there's not gonna be any aliens. And I don't like I said, I've seen 3 episodes of X-Files, and I was just okay, come on, where's the alien? And there's no alien.
Just in the middle of a poem, he's suddenly there's an alien nearby, and it freaks me out. Give us one poem about being an actor.
Give us the alien poem.
Give us give us the alien poem, dude. Come on.
It's about a red star in August. It's oh, that was a coincidence.
Ignore that one. Steve, thanks for joining us. I'm really glad we can get you on here. Thanks for drumming on the theme music. Do you have anything you want to plug?
I love VHS tapes. If anybody comes across any VHS tapes in their parents' their grandmother's house, I want it. Give me that shit. Otherwise, keep listening to the pod. This is where it's at.
Thank you. Yes, give us, if you have VHS tapes that are recordings of TV broadcasts, reach out to us. We can get it to Steve. Steve, do you want to plug your YouTube channel at all?
Tube Time TV. I don't even remember the correct URL at this point, but Tube Time TV is where it's at.
Well, we'll put it in the description of the podcast. Get around. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. I saw before I recorded this episode. I guess I said it in the chat, but I'm gonna just say it on here. Before I recorded this episode, I was out and about. I went, like I said, I'm in Chicago. I went to the museum. There's a Yoko Ono exhibit. I tried to get in with the student rate. The woman called my bluff. I wasn't able to get in with the student rate. It was very clear that I was lying to her. This is all an aside. Then I left the museum, went and bought a pack of cigarettes at a Walgreens, and then I left that, and I saw a spa, and the spa is called Milk Plus Honey, and I swear to fucking God, same typeface. I even compared it. Same typeface as the Rupi Kaur book, Milk and Honey.
Yeah.
I think it is a milk, and you saw the picture. It's exactly, right? Am I right?
It's exact,
It is, yep.
It's a Rupi Kaur fucking themed spa right in this area of Chicago. Felt like a positive omen for the podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Well, on that note, thank you again to Steve and Michael Holmes for coming on, guesting on the podcast.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you. Love to be here. Big fan of the pod.
Thank you.
Before we sign off,
yes,
we have one more thing to do.
What's that?
The Napoleon.
The fucking Napoleon minute.
Give us the Napoleon minute.
I did not. I did not.
Oh shit,
dude! You got. I know
Off
you
the
got
cuff.
something.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I don't think January was a very like noteworthy month during the First Empire, because there's just not going to be a lot of military operations, and even like civil life is pretty like subdued.
I actually like that as the Napoleon minute. It's like, the Napoleon minute is like
It's
all's
chill.
fine. It's chill. Yeah.
Oh,
Just the
okay.
most
I can
peaceful
actually
Napoleon
say,
minute.
like, I can never make fun of any people that do some like silly Reddit or whatever you want to say, like activity, because last month when I was at my parents', this is my Napoleonic minute, I looked up the dimensions of the different batons of marshals, which was an honorific title, Maréchal of the Empire, for like an honorific title to generals. And so they were blue batons that had like velvet, and some of them had stars or bumblebees, because that was a Napoleonic motif of the House of Bonaparte that he adopted because he liked bees and or eagles. So it was like a blue velvet baton with gold trimmings. You can look these up. You would like look up a baton of the Marshal of the Empire. So I was trying to recreate some out of wood and putting like epoxy in molds, and then getting some brass fittings for it. But before all that could come to fruition, I had to go back to New York. But that's like one of my side projects that I have, among many others,
Dude,
is
so
that I'm recreating one or two Napoleonic Marshal batons. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah, let's go.
Podcast over.
Back to my self-imposed solitude.